Chael Sonnen just uploaded a very interesting video about specifically Conor McGregor having PTSD with Khabib Nurmagomedov. I am interested in this, and I have not seen this yet, so I thought, hey, you know what? Why not? Let's react to it today. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. I'm interested in Chael's take over here about this because it's crazy that Conor McGregor has never been able to get over this loss, and of course, this has just happened after Conor McGregor spat in a guy's face after just saying, go Khabib, or whatever he said, but regardless, let's hear Chael out.
Did Khabib Nurmagomedov get Conor McGregor PTSD and ruin his life? Is that what's happening? And I must tell you, I don't have any problem with a grudge, and I respect and appreciate a grudge that sticks around.
I'm actually with Chael on that. And something that I struggle with in my own life is because I'm a Catholic. I am very into my Catholic faith, and it's tough. Something I struggle with very, very hard is forgiveness. I cannot let go of a grudge, man, as much as I want to. I can't help but respect that. I look at it as not rolling over, you know? But the problem with, like, it's different with Conor McGregor because Conor McGregor kind of started everything, and Conor made the press conference what it was, and then he ended up paying for it. So is it really fair for McGregor to have a grudge? I don't know.
That's when it's real. I believe you shake hands when it's done. You do that. You put it. There's a performance. There's a protocol and an etiquette. I believe in that. You don't have to make up. You don't have to feel it in here.
Yeah, and this is something that I've always agreed with Chael on, is I hate it when all of these fighters, like, they have such bad blood, and it's like, if it's even, like, genuine bad blood, they look at each other afterwards, and they're like, all right, we can put it away. We can put it away. Like Colby Masvidal, love it. You know, I like when the fighters keep their grudges.
You don't have to feel up here. You don't ever have to forgive anybody that took something you wanted or took one of your dreams away or ended up being better at something than somebody else. Envy and jealousy are very real things.
But the problem is when it comes to something like that I do disagree with. Why would you feel like, it's fine to feel envious and jealousy for the most part, but when it comes to, like, forgiving, what do you have? Like, if somebody beats you in an MMA contest, what is there for you to forgive them for? Honestly, like, no, you had a contest and someone was better than you. That I do disagree with.
I'm just sharing with you, like, I don't have a problem with a person having that. But Conor McGregor has lashed out in ways at Khabib. The juxtaposition here, guys.
It's to a new level. Like, Conor McGregor seems like legitimately like he thinks about it day and night, but it also could just be the coke.
And however hot you want to be. Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, you're going to attack a guy and threaten to bite off his testicles, right? I mean, about as vicious of a line as there's ever been. The test is the things that you said after, and then to measure, were the things that you said after hotter?
Was it hotter? Yeah, I guess so, because looking at Conor McGregor's tweets recently, like, it was so bad that I can't even repeat it. Like, honestly. So, but then Conor was, like, wild at the beginning of it too. And you know what? I'm not even gonna come from this. Like, I don't know to what extent Conor McGregor was telling the truth or exposing Khabib Nurmagomedov at the press conference when they were talking. I truthfully don't know much about that, but regardless, Conor was, like, going wild, and he's still going wild, and it's crazy that he still hasn't given it up.
Or were they cooler than the things you said before?
I think they're hotter.
And Conor McGregor was very aggressive towards Khabib. Conor McGregor was placed in handcuffs and had to go before a magistrate, right?
And that's crazy if we're talking about this being hotter afterwards like that. Like, think about that for a second.
Bus incident, trespassing and vandalism and assault, and Conor wrote some very big checks behind the scenes that you guys have not heard about to people who were on the bus who got glass in their mouth and eye. Like,
yeah, I wholeheartedly believe that too. Like, because it's incredible. Like, you just think that nothing else came from that. Obviously, that's the case.
Just so you understand, that was a very big thing. I would still argue, particularly verbally, that even the words Conor McGregor was throwing as he's assaulting and the dolly and the whole incident were not as provocative as the things that he's saying now.
Agreed. I agree with that. Like, again, I wish that I could, like, reiterate for you what he said, but the things he's been saying is so bad that I actually can't reiterate for you. If you're around the MMA community, you would absolutely know what Conor McGregor has been saying, and it's getting worse, and it's getting worse, and it's getting to the point where he's just walking up to people and spitting in their face now.
I'm not a prude. You guys are aware of that. I'm not a prude. I'm not going to quote what Conor said. I don't speak in these ways. It was that hot. It was so hot that another non-prude, Conor McGregor, deleted some of it many times. Many times he's gone out and...
But that's what we talk about it being the drugs too. Because Conor could write something all cracked out and then he'll come down from it and go, okay, maybe I should delete that. Or maybe it's like someone's looking out for Conor. Maybe someone's supervising his Twitter. Or it could just be Conor getting clicks because when he does this, people talk about it.
A Coke or a booze binge or whatever you call us at 3 a.m, woken up at 8 a.m. and deleted the things that he said.
I think that's the most likely case.
Racial epithets, things about family. You got to be real careful when you deal with culture, by the way.
And it's incredible to me, by the way, that Conor gets away with the stuff that he says, with how aggressive people are, like, coming back at you for actually saying something like that, and for the status that Conor McGregor has now. It's incredible that he hasn't gotten himself in more trouble.
Ethnicity, some of these other things are a little hotter, but when you turn to culture, boy, you're down a notch. I will admit, but not much. It's the next notch down from doing ethnicity. All right. Mm-hmm. So where does this come from, though?
I don't know, like, if PTSD is the right thing to say. It's possible that he could have just been humiliated that bad. Like, he really truthfully believes to his core that Khabib Nurmagomedov is a horrible guy, and Conor McGregor, I don't want to say victim, but he can't believe that people are looking at him like the bad guy. Kind of like Daniel Cormier and John Jones. Daniel Cormier was the actual good guy fighting against a real-life villain. Everybody was dogging on him for it the entire time, calling Daniel Cormier a piece of shit. Maybe it's something like that. I personally think it is most likely just him being angry, thinking about it, and him being internally upset about him being like a shell of the fighter that he once was. He can't get in the cage anymore. He can't have that superstardom. He misses it still. And he gets cracked out and he just starts tweeting and then wakes up in the morning and deletes it.
Right. Where does this come from? Khabib, by Khabib's standards. All right. Now, if Conor McGregor is R-rated, Khabib is PG. Right. You really can't compare the two. But Khabib hasn't overly let it go. Khabib and some of the statements that he makes now are as hot, even if they're cool compared, but they're as hot now as they were before the fight. Khabib, he's waiting out by Dana's car.
But Khabib is retaliating for the most part. Like, I don't think that he would ever like the guy, and I like that Khabib was real. Like, Chael was talking about being real earlier. Like, I like when fighters actually, like, don't let go of the grudges. So I always find it funny. He was like, Khabib, at the end of this, will you end up shaking Conor's hand? No, never. I'm never shaking his hand. Like, I like that he's honest in that sense. And that's where I was talking about at the beginning of the video too. That's where I struggle with my own faith, because I respect that attitude more. I like that you're, I don't know if secure is the right word to say. I like that you're like that real with yourself and you have that much respect for yourself that you're going to be like, no, I will never shake hands with this person. So Khabib actually he's retaliating for the most part. What do you want him to do? Roll over? Habib's not that guy.
Right. That was about as dirty as Khabib ever got. He didn't leave a venue one night. Do you guys remember that thing? He put his hat on the car, and then he ended up having to leave, so he took a picture of his hat on Dana's car to let him know I've been waiting for you, put it on social media. I mean, do you remember that? That's PG. That's fun. That's good family fun right there.
And then you have Conor McGregor coming in out of nowhere.
Truly is. But Khabib is still irritated by Conor, and he's only irritated because Conor won't seem to let things go. And I'm just asking you why.
Drugs.
I'm asking you why while I'm hedging, because my opinion, I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, I kind of have a problem if Conor McGregor is like getting cracked out. I think he's destroying his life and he's living his life, and I get that he's majorly successful. I get that, but that's no way to live your life. And then people actually look up to Conor McGregor and perhaps will want to chase the same thing that he has. It's one thing to chase the money and the success that he has, but he does have his influence, and I don't think that like hard drugs like that have any place in our culture.
It makes it feel sincere. And even if you got the smart mark up in the cheap seats, he still wants to be entertained, right? Like you know that the magician has the ace in his sleeve. You know that. But as long as when he pulls it, you didn't see him pull it, you give him a standing ovation. The entire show becomes, do I see You do the trick.
I don't know what he's alluding to right now. I don't know about Conor McGregor, but I'll let him finish his point. And sorry if anybody's wondering, we have to make sure we have the cuts in the video over here. We're reacting to what Chael says. So we got to abide by fair use.
So even if there's a level of entertainment behind this.
Oh, I see. Like for the beef with Conor McGregor and Khabib, I don't think there's a level of entertainment to it at all. I don't. It's possible that Conor McGregor just wants to get some headlines because he went through that whole... He doesn't do it so much anymore, but you remember like when anything big ever would happen in the UFC, he would tweet something like just out of the blue, like whether I'm retiring or just tweeting something about the two fighters, like and just him being better or just insulting somebody. He wanted to still get his name out there and he still wanted everybody paying attention to him. I don't like there could be a performative aspect when it comes to that, but I don't think between Conor and Khabib, I think that's completely real still.
I'm just wondering where the anger comes from. Because when Khabib sat on the car or when Conor attacked the bus, at a minimum within theory, we were doing business. Oh, and by the way, Khabib sitting at the car, Conor attacking the bus, were both used for a promotion into a fight that ended up being the single biggest fight of our industry.
I always wonder how much of that actually was planned because I know that Conor McGregor was coming from that angle initially, but it got really bad, really dark, and really real somewhere in there. And I want to know what happened.
I don't believe that there's any records. None. I don't believe that there's any records from 5 years plus ago that still stand. It's changing very, very fast. But that one not only stands, it hasn't even been touched. So, if a guy like me wants to sit back and excuse somebody, make an excuse and tell you to pardon Conor McGregor's behavior.
But I don't see any reason why we should look at Conor McGregor and go, hey, that's a good thing you're doing, Conor. Hey, that's justified what you said, Conor McGregor. Like, no, you talked your crap and Khabib wiped the floor with you. Like, it should end there, and he's still yapping to this day. Has it actually been 5 years? Has it actually been 5 years since this point? That's crazy.
He was doing business. I would be within my reasonable bounds to say that. But right now, a hotter Conor, a more aggressive Conor.
And hotter and more aggressive would be because of the drugs, and I'm sure obviously that Chael knows that, but it's also important to note that this is not the same Conor McGregor. That person that, for me personally, that person that I was a fan of when he first burst on the scene, the person that was so inspirational, the person that was so entertaining, that person no longer exists. This is a completely different human being, one that is more aggressive, one that is more hot, and that is probably because of the clear drugs that he's taking.
Who's not doing any business. Which is why it lends me back to ask you, why is this happening? I get that it's personal. But was it controversial? No. Was it competitive?
But round three, Conor McGregor actually won, but Khabib had to take him down. Khabib only wanted to sniff crotches.
Was it like there's some matches you want to get a rematch? Hey, you got to give me a rematch. I did you a favor, scumbag. Now you're going to do one back. Oh, bye. Your number one thing you're going to do is give me a right or an opportunity to whip your ass, which I should have done the first time. Like, there is a level of that gets a push and pull, but that's not what we have here.
No, Conor is just, like, going off on this dude, and it's clear that Conor McGregor is never going to fight again. He is all talk. He is all bark. He is no bite at this point.
This was not a close or competitive match. This isn't like we're sitting around the world going, yeah, what would happen if they did it again?
I'm sure, to be honest with you, a lot of people probably would say that. Like, not necessarily right now, like at this, like in this year with the state of Conor McGregor and just how he appears to be. Nobody would say that now, but before, like even when this continued on after the fight, people would be questioning that because people would remember that third round. And to be honest with you, Conor McGregor did phenomenal with the defense in the first round. That is criminally underrated that nobody talks about.
Well, that was an early stoppage, and it was a real back and forth up until then. There was none of those things. So, does it come from a PTSD? Is there something that...
But the problem is, like, what other fighter has had that really? Like, the vast majority of people, unless, like, I hate to say it, but unless you're like a Jamal Hill type, which is not deserved, by the way, but what I mean by Jamal Hill type is like someone with a lot of fans like really, really enjoy dogging on. A lot of people respect the fighters that go in there, even if they lose, even if they take a beating. They go, "Oh my God, this guy's so tough," and they understand that they could also destroy 99, like the vast majority of the entire world. I have trouble seeing like fighters actually getting PTSD from it. I don't know why Conor McGregor would actually get PTSD from Khabib Nurmagomedov beating him up, because Conor has been beat before. Conor has been beat up before. And I don't know. I was about to say like the Nate Diaz loss might have been more humiliating, but it wasn't. I don't know. Like, that's tough. I don't think he has PTSD. I just think he's drugged out of his mind.
Bothers him and haunts him, and many guys will have that, but it's for their last one.
But then again, like, he's right in saying that, like, maybe I'm looking a little bit too deep and too seriously into PTSD, but this is probably on his mind. He's never gotten over it. But it's weird that he's never gotten over it. It's weird because Conor McGregor could just sit back, do what he's done all of these years, and be a very, very loved individual, but he doesn't. Instead, he's hanging on this Khabib loss.
Conor had a number of fights since then. He had a number of experiences since then, but that's the one. It's to the point he's taken on his own countrymen now. I mean, no one's safe. Anyone in this path. Why? Am I a mark? Is it just a performance? I'm open to that.
There's no way it's a performance, dude. I really, really don't think it's a performance. It seems too real, and Conor seems too bothered by it. Look, Conor's walking up to people who say go Khabib and spitting in their face. That's not, like, he wouldn't do that for a performance.
But I've never seen a performance from Conor, because Khabib's not playing, but Conor might be. But I've never seen Conor play before when there wasn't a payoff.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point, because what do you get from this? They're not fighting again. Khabib's never fighting again. Conor's never going to get, like, his dignity back from this. He's never going to get a one-up on Khabib. People are just going to keep laughing at him. There is no payoff for it. It is real.
No chance of those two touching each other in a competitive one-on-one situation. They will not so much as play horseshoes against each other in this lifetime. So what's it all for? Unless there's some post-traumatic stress that is left over, and it seems like is ruining Conor's life.
It really does. And I wonder if I don't know much about like hard drugs when it comes to like how it affects anybody like with already mental health issues. I would imagine it would just like straight up make you crazy, but would it enhance like Conor's? Yeah, it must enhance Conor's anger for it. But it's just shocking to me that, because it must be the drugs. It's just shocking to me that Conor, like the Conor of old wouldn't have been the guy to have like taken a loss this horribly. We've seen him take losses before. And that I didn't realize that was the end of the video. I thought he was going to close up with something, but it's a very interesting thought because I never really actually thought about Conor McGregor like legitimately having PTSD, but I was initially thinking like, okay, maybe I was looking a little bit too much into PTSD and treating it. The problem is like I have trouble seeing what happened to Conor McGregor and go, okay, you really got PTSD from that. I just think he's crazy now. I think he's taking way too many drugs. Look at his eyes. He's kind of like all the time. We've seen the videos. We've seen the clips. It's sad. It really, really is. You know what else is sad, though? Conor McGregor actually got bullied by the Paul brothers. We made a video talking about that, guys. I'd love to have you over here. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, everybody.